Hey Diva, welcome back to my channel. And I know that's right, with Natasha Night. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Natasha Night. Think of me as your favorite unapologetic diva who's here to help you fill your cup of confidence and inspire you to embrace your most authentic selves, bask in self-love, and harness that divine feminine energy, honey. So if you haven't already joined the Diva family of confident, unapologetic people who live out loud, please make sure that you do so by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you get a notification every single time I upload a video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. All right, now let's get started with the video. So for today's video, this video I feel is like super duper uber important. And the reason why is because we're gonna talk about advocating for ourselves. Okay. So what I learned through life, especially when I had changed with the passing of my mom, I learned that no one is going to advocate for you, which means that you have to advocate for yourself. And part of advocating for yourself is being assertive and being a bitch. And why that's important is because I learned through life that the moments that I was not assertive and bitch, right? I realized that people were walking all over me and they were doing really, really horrible and horrendous things. Whereas if I demanded respect, and not in a disrespectful way, but in a way that is assertive and confident, it allowed people to be forced to treat me with that respect because they knew that they would not be able to pull one over me, basically. So I feel like let's give an example. So let's say I'm a person. Do I want to use? I'll use grapes. I'll use grapes. So let's say I want fruits. I want to get some grapes. And I know that if I go to Sarah, I'm only going to get 5 grapes. But if I go to Sally, she's going to give me 10 grapes. Who do you think I'm going to go to first? I'm going to go to Sally because I'm going to get double the grapes. But Sarah, who knows her worth and is like, this is the minimum, this is the not the minimum, sorry. This is the maximum that you can get. This is what you're going to get. Take it or leave it. I'm not going to want to go to her. I'm going to want to go to the person that I can get more from, the person that I can take advantage of. And that's human nature. It doesn't even have to be you being a bad person. Because a lot of the times people are like, oh my God, they took advantage of me. That means they're a horrible person. No, 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 no. At the end of the day, we're human beings. When it skews over to the line of intentionality and maliciousness and calculatedness is when you are going out of your way to do it. But if it's just a situation where you see, Sally's gonna give me double what Sarah gives me, I don't want anything from Sarah, you're just gonna take it. And that's human nature, right? So you take what you can get, but if you know you can get more from somebody else, you're gonna do it. And that's the thing. As human beings, we have to advocate for ourselves because that's how we are going to be respected. At the end of the day, we have to teach and train people just like dogs and babies. They're the same human beings. You have to train people on how to treat you, teach people on how to treat you, and how you teach them is in the way that you treat them, and not just the way that you treat them, but the way that you advocate for yourself when they do things wrong. Nip shit in the bud. Okay? It is super, super, super imperative to nip shit in the bud. Why? Because that's going to alleviate any stress and any harm to feelings because everybody has a different personality, right? So some personality styles, they're the type to swallow. And they swallow, they swallow, and they swallow. And then they explode. And when they explode, they look like an asshole and they look like a crazy person. When it's like, no, I'm not crazy. You just kept poking and poking and poking and poking and poking me, and now I am tired. But it's like, if the first time they poke, you figure out an effective and assertive way to be a bitch and communicate, this is not what I like. This is not how you are to move forward if you want to have a healthy relationship with me. Trust me, one of two things are going to happen. They're going to get in line real fast, or they're going to be like, F you, I don't want to do it. And guess what? Either way, you get to see who the person is, and you get to see if that's somebody that you want in your life. Because regardless, people will show you who they are. So some people, uh, it could actually, there's even another way now that I think about it. They could be somebody where they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. And then they go and test to see if you're actually going to set that boundary. And at the end of the day, when you set boundaries, you don't set boundaries for other people. You're setting boundaries for yourself. So there's this amazing book called Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra Tawwab. I am going to put it here. I'm going to put a picture of her over here, the author. She also has an Instagram, but here I'm going to put the book so that you guys can see it. It is the greatest book I have ever read because I learned that the boundaries that I used to have were rigid boundaries. They weren't firm boundaries. Rigid boundaries are not good. So a lot of the women in my family, they have boundaries. Like the woman that I was raised by, my aunts and my grandma. They have boundaries, but their boundaries are rigid. And in order for boundaries to be healthy, they have to be firm. And you're setting boundaries not for other people to control them, but to control what it is that you accept and what it is that they see moving forward. And so, with that, I would definitely highly suggest getting the audiobook or act or the what is it, the PDF version, the Kindle version, or like the actual paper book. But it is a phenomenal book. It is a book that I am constantly having to go to because she goes through every single boundary that you can think of. So, number one, I didn't know there were sexual boundaries. I didn't know there were financial boundaries. There were so many things that I didn't know needed boundaries. I always thought boundaries had to do with space, like move away. And so she shows the importance of keeping people at arm's length and like little by little moving them closer, but in a healthy way. Like you cannot have super rigid boundaries and think that you are going to facilitate healthy relationships. So, through advocating for yourself and setting these firm, healthy boundaries, you are going to teach people how to treat you, how it is that you deserve to be treated. And it's going to help you to have a wonderful life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get, you know, ups and downs with people, but it does mean it's going to alleviate a lot of the stress of you wondering who the person is or if they should be in your life, and also the amount of drama that you're going to deal with, because it's going to be more dramatic for you to swallow and to take and to take and to be pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until you can't be pushed anymore. Because, and I always say this all the time, I only have so many cheeks. Like the Bible says, turn the other cheek. I have this cheek, I have that cheek, and I have two ass cheeks. I don't got no more. I don't got no more for you. But my grandfather, the boundary king, the king of boundaries, he had a saying that I loved, and I would use that for boundaries in every other area of my life but romantic and familiar relationships. Those are the areas I had to learn. The When it came to friendships, when it came to collegial relationships, when it came to professional relationships, like any other relationship that was not a romantic and um was not a romantic, was not a sexual, and was not a familial relationship, I had the boundary. I had the policy, which I think you guys should take. It's called, and this comes from my grandfather, so this is not mine, but I've adopted it ever since I was little. It's called three strikes are out. So he loved baseball, and as you know, with baseball, three strikes, you're out. So for him, it's like the first time you do it, I communicate it to you because you cannot read my mind. You're a human being and you don't have any clue on how it is that you're to move around me, right? The second time that somebody does it, ojo. Your eyes have to open, okay? You got to be paying attention to what's going on because that's letting you know, hmm, I'm wondering if they are taking advantage. Why? Because the thing is, just because you tell somebody something once does not mean that they're able to get it the next second, but they should be trying. If it's that they're trying to pacify you and they do it for like a month and then they go back, that's how you know they're taking a piss, okay? That's how you know they're trying to take advantage. So then the third time, cut them out. They're done. The way that you move in that relationship is no longer going to be friendly. It's no longer going to be close. It's no longer going to be comfortable to them because at the end of the day, in order for them to be comfortable around you, they need to make you feel comfortable by respecting what it is that you say when you're advocating for yourself. Okay? So those are my tips, and I hope it really helps you guys. Again, advocate, advocate, advocate for yourself. I cannot stress this enough because at the end of the day, when you are assertive and you are bitch, people respect your behind. Trust me. People, I don't know what it is, they love bitchs. They love them. There's something about them that are so great, you know? And so, yeah. So, that being said, make sure you advocate for yourself. You have to voice what it is that you need to teach people on how to treat you and carry that three strikes and out policy, honey, because guess what? Don't nobody got time to be disrespected over and over and over and over. Like, you're not about to try me like a free sample. You could play with your mama, you could play with your kitty. Don't play with me. All right? So, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, have a wonderful day. On that note, remember, Divas, don't, oh, wait, before I forget, make sure that you like and comment below if something you found was helpful or you liked one of the tips. Okay. But yeah, on that note, remember, Divas, loving yourself is your first secret to happiness. So be your own reason to smile. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.